Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
Buddy, how you doing? Happy Thursday night, and welcome to the RiDESHARE Rodeo Roundtable, where Hannibal and I have some guests, and we're maybe waiting on one more guest, but that we're holding down the fort. It's normally other people holding down the fort for Hannibal with us. It's kind of funny that we're the two holding down the fort today. Kim's gone, Gary's gone till end of September, and John is gone this week.
The streak is over for Kim, huh? How many?
Kim did that streak and then just destroyed it. Like three out of 4 weeks gone. Wow. But she's back next week.
Yeah,
Kim's always been it. But our guests tonight, if you don't know them, DJ and Britt, we had the pleasure of getting to know them over the GigCon and over that whole weekend. Really great people, and they do what we've had a couple people on here who do. Like, they dash around the country. They my friend Jason up in Idaho, we've had a couple others, and we've known about some other channels too that do this, but these guys are doing it too, and they actually happen to be here in Denver right now. So DJ and Britt, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So how is life in Denver road working right now?
Downtown is full of potholes, and everything else is trying to not have as many potholes. There's lots of construction here, so it makes it a little difficult.
Yeah. Well, you're down in Parker. I mean, Tony works that area too. Like, I mean, I guess Tony and I know our roads, so like even if we see navigations, we know, well, that one's really bad, but like you said, a lot of them are. But you can stay in areas like Parker, it seems like, in certain areas that are suburb of Denver, and stay out of the mess a bit.
Yeah, we usually stay in a San Antonio area, Parker area, and come up at in the slow time. We'll hit Cherry Creek for the dinner rush.
Yeah, it does pretty good.
Yeah. Have you guys talked to Tony too? Because Tony's always working from your location, Driven Dad.
Yeah, I've reached out to him a few times, asked him, what's the best barbecue, and y'all got any, spud shops here, or whatever it might be. As far as what a local person might know a little bit better than we do.
I think I'm gonna end up having to cook these guys some potatoes because they're so into this spud thing that I feel like they're not gonna find it here.
Yeah, there's not very many potatoes here.
Yeah. I guess we're close to Idaho. I've never really seen that be a thing. Usually it's like at the at a steak dinner or something.
Well, no, we're talking where you bake the potato, you take it all out, and you put it back in, and you bake it again.
There's a lot of places that have
double baked and stuff,
and
you can put stuff in it, and broccoli and cheese and meat or whatever you want. That might have to be me doing it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. you guys, this weekend, before I even get into anything and say hi to the chat, this weekend is a holiday weekend. And I was just looking at this. This isn't even a story. Just before I closed this tab, I wanted to mention it that make sure that if you're traveling around to check out Uber and Lyft, most of them have free rides, if not very much discounted rides, especially after the midnight hour from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. So don't spend money on rideshare. There's usually a coupon code that pays for an entire ride home. And that's not a promotion for any of the companies. It's just, I'm trying to save some people some money if you go out drinking. That's all.
Steve, can I jump in with another like public service announcement?
Yes,
real
go
quick?
ahead.
So, Dash and Trader had a really good video last night, talking about sanitary conditions with a certain DoorDash driver. Please wash your hands frequently when you are out there on the road delivering food to people. The person that Dash and Trader was talking about had black gunk in their fingernails as they were, because they were doing a ride along, showing their phone with nasty black whatever in their fingernails. And this person was delivering food to people, picking up food in restaurants and delivering it to them. Please, guys, wash your hands. If I ever got anything from someone, especially food, and they handed to me and I saw their fingernails, I would not eat any of the food that's there, and I will report them. It's unsanitary. It's disgusting. Please wash your hands. I think that's it's not that hard to do.
Most likely you wouldn't even know.
Right.
I mean, almost guaranteed you wouldn't know if your driver hasn't been or whatever.
Well,
so it's a good point, especially coming up on cold season and stuff. We all know that's, I mean, my kid's back in school now, started senior year, goes to a school with 4,000 kids. I mean, it's
right.
There's sickness floating all the time. So it's
is no excuse. There's many means. You got the hand sanitizer. You have obviously going into restaurants, there's bathrooms. You should not have filthy hands while you're handling food to people. It's disgusting. So please take care of yourself. Wash your hands, please.
I agree. And keep sanitizer too in your car. I mean, I just guess I always do. So I assume most people do, but because we always can't get into a bathroom or whatever, but hand sanitizer in between or whatever too. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, let's say hi to chat here real quick, and then we'll move into some topics here a little bit. What's up, Rick? How are you? What's up, Tommy? What's up, Gigan? Hey, Traveler. What's up, Gigwise? How are you? Chris Taylor. Hi, Holly. Hi, Cody. Hi, Micro. How are you? And who did I miss here? I thought I saw. Oh, and Mac. What's up, Mac? So, Mac, when you sent me that text today, I thought you were talking about. And Yup, what's up, Yup? I thought you were talking about you got back on, or you got your DoorDash fixed. But is your DoorDash already fixed? Because I know you were talking about Curry now. Glad that happened. But Mac is up in Portland. So I'm just curious because Mac went through some stuff and we talked to him on the Para channel about it because him and Nova went through it at the same time, the same crap about that DoorDash deactivation stuff. Hey, Ryan, what's up? What's up, Jonathan? What's up, Chip Smith? How are you? So the first thing, okay, you guys, I know that we'll get into some DoorDash and Uber Eats and some of the AI talk here, but the first thing I want to talk about, just because anybody can weigh in on this, but I think this is super odd. I want to know what you guys think because, okay, Minneapolis did their push to have Uber and Lyft drivers be regulated, have them making a certain amount per minute, per mile. The governor or the Senate and the House on the state level passed it, kicked it to the governor, and he vetoed his first bill ever in his political history. He normally leans heavy to the left and would have sided with this in a heartbeat. Obviously, there's some question about where his donations come from, and is our DoorDash and Uber and these companies on that list in the top ones. But after it didn't pass, and again, they were using the Seattle numbers. And if you're not familiar, the Twin Cities is the most expensive place to live in Minnesota, but it's about a third of the cost of living in Seattle. So to use those same numbers, I guess the governor ended up saying he needed a task force to look into this. So the city council then took it up last week and tried to kick it through, and they passed it, and they gave it to the mayor and said, can we at least pass it on the Minneapolis side, not on the St. Paul side of the Twin Cities? And again, leaving this guy in the worst position, because this mayor's, I mean, I've seen everybody saying, the mayor's, he's in somebody's pocket. He very well might be. I'm not saying he's not. But what I am saying is that how was the mayor going to do that anyway? Because after the state, Senate, and House, I know that they pushed it through, but after the governor said, listen, we need to have a task force, and then his response was the same. We need to have a task force. Well, okay, you need to have a task force. That seems to be like the next logical step. It wasn't ever done. And it was kind of a very big mess to put this together. But here's the weirdest part of this story is that the guy who wrote this, who sits on who is a lawmaker on the Senate side, he wrote this bill. He wants to see it kicked through even in January when they have found all their findings. They made this a very balanced group of people that would be looking into this, union, non-union, this, that, the other. And he was put in charge of the task force. As soon as the mayor kicked it down, he quit the task force, the guy who wrote the bill. I don't know how you guys feel, but to me, that seems like, it doesn't seem like he's on board with his own bill.
But the problem is, I noticed, and I saw another content creator, I think the RiDESHARE professor, talking about how powerful these gig companies are and how they play chicken with everybody, and it seemed like it's effective. It seemed like it works here in this country compared to other countries where they'll just kick them out, and they don't have that level of control. And I feel like it takes one politician, mayor, governor, someone that will say, no, we're going to do this. And you say you're going to leave, then leave. And then for Uber and Lyft and these companies to, realize, hey, I guess this didn't work and we're going to stay because the money is too good here. Like, we need something like that to happen. But before that, I think a lot of these politicians do not want to be the one that gets Uber and Lyft out of their place because, like we said, I think last week, public transportation is not good. It's terrible. So I think they need them. Then obviously the economy of the drivers, they use this. Most of them are probably full time, or maybe if they're not, they need this as income. So they don't want to be the bad guy in this one to say, no, we're gonna do this, and if you want to leave, leave. And if that doesn't happen yet, then Uber and Lyft can continue to do the whole chicken thing. Like, well, if you say you don't do this, then we're gonna get out, we're gonna leave. So I don't know. I don't see anything changing until somebody.
Well, what would be the alternative?
Well, the alternative would have been that what they were trying to, obviously what they were trying to do first was make it statewide. But then they were like, at the city level, to put, like Hannibal was saying, somebody's going to have to be the first to pull this trigger and see if they'll actually leave. Like, I'm looking at the article that I'm looking at today is in Fast Company.
Okay, yeah,
and
same, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and it it's basically saying that, okay, look, the governor kicked it down. What do you expect the mayor to do? The governor's decision to have a task force is actually might be necessary, because to be honest, if you look at the initial part of this bill, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but sometimes when you push a bill through, you connect it to another bill. And when you do that, both of them have to pass for the one bill to pass. So if you have a bill that's like, hey, do you want electricity this winter? You got to vote this way on it. Then they attach something else to it. I hate that. I don't think that should exist in politics. I think it's disgusting. And that's kind of what they did with this initial one, is they attached it to a bill that everybody was going to vote yes on both sides. And then all of a sudden people are like, well, wait, I don't want that thing attached to it. So it seems like from the get-go, and I'm just talking about this situation, I'm not somebody who's like looking for union leadership in the gig space anyway. I don't think it belongs. There are places, teachers, fire, police, things like of that nature that need reformed unions potentially. And in fact, next Thursday, we're going to be having a discussion on here with Kim Cavett, Karen Anderson, and Mike Harubi, who are all heavy hitters in this game. And we're going to be talking about independent contractorship and what's coming up, even to the gig economy. So we're building all that back into play here. But I mean, if the governor had kicked this through and he had said, okay, everybody gets this amount, I honestly believe Lyft will leave. Lyft doesn't even have $1 billion anymore. They have less than $1 billion in cash on hand. And Lyft was a, $50 billion company that's whittled its way down to less than one. And I know they've got new people in control and whatnot, but I guess the alternative is you're going to have, some of these drivers will strike and whatnot, but to pay, like, I mean, I gotta say, okay, look, did we do the math last week? Because I'll just do it real quick again, because if it makes sense to anybody, please tell me. But I obviously would love to be paid the most that I can for my time all the time. But
yeah.
but $1.50 a mile and 50 cents a minute. Okay, so if I'm taking a 60-mile trip to the airport, right? I'm gonna get paid I'm gonna get paid $90 for the mileage, and I'm for the 60 minutes of my time, or for the 60 miles. Then I'm gonna get paid 30 or I'm gonna get paid for every 2 minutes, I'm gonna get paid $1 for waiting for the time. So 50 cents a minute. So I'm gonna get paid $30 for the hour of my time. I'm gonna get paid 90 for the miles. Now, guys, I drove black car service for years for a limo company. And I gotta say, like, on my best days, $120 an hour, that's doctor pay, guys. I don't know why. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't see that, why that's realistic.
Teachers don't make that much money.
Yeah. I mean, I just, of course, like, I'm not up here saying like, hey, I side with the gig companies and I think this is how it should be, like, but I also think, look, let's be like realistic here. I mean, this is not $120 an hour worth of work, and it's going to be hard to find passengers who are going to pay that and pay more than that, double, triple that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the answer, and I'm not siding with the politicians, but maybe the answer is this task force. And why did the person who wrote the bill leave? I don't know.
But I guess what you're saying, that every state needs to decide this, but then who decides what's the number? Are you like you said, everyone wants to get paid as much money as possible for the time they work. Will there ever be a number that everyone will be satisfied with? Right? Even New York City, they said, $17 but $18 for food delivery. I don't think anyone is happy with that. It's food, obviously, no. DoorDash doesn't want to do it, and the people who are out there delivering food are saying $18 an hour is not enough. So, like, are you ever going to make anyone happy when a politician decides that this is a number and this is how much you're going to get paid? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has anything to say on that. I mean, like, honestly, if I would like to see anybody who can back the comment, or if DJ and Britt can. I don't think anybody can, but just curious. I'd like to see if anybody can back the comment. I think that is what they should be paid. I mean, again, like, maybe when you're taking some local, just short trips, maybe it works out a little bit. But I'm just putting an airport trip up as an example, because look, I'm not going to pay $300, which is at bare minimum. If they're paying a driver $120, they're going to charge $300. I'm not going to pay $300 each way to the airport to go there and to come back home when I get back home, because that's twice as much as my flight.
You could rent a car for cheaper than that.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm saying if you live there and you're going from your house to the airport, that's what a lot of people do, is they actually do that. And it's like, well, that'll, now you're paying twice as much for the ride portion as you are the air. And I don't know, and I see Ryan talking about the bid system. And if you were watching RideShare Guy, or if you've seen Sergio and Chris talking about it, there is what is it, Inline or whatever, the new RideShare out of Miami that is doing that kind of somewhat of a bid system. It's pretty cool. Look into that. But moving on to some DoorDash here and some Uber Eats. Why is every article talking about this amazing AI bot that's going to take customer orders? Like, what does this do? I mean, I was reading these. I mean, it's in everything right now. You can, if you just Google DoorDash news, or Uber Eats News, you're going to find this is 5 of the 10 articles that come up on the first page. And it's I keep reading these articles and I'm like, what is this? Like the biggest thing that I could find was that 20% of customers prefer to order their food via phone. Up to 50% of customer calls are unanswered, which just reminded me of that movie Anchorman, when it's like 60% of the time it works 100% of the time. I just can't get over this. I'm like, what?
But I think I believe it's true. I think that you sometimes calling a restaurant directly, you're not getting a response. I'm assuming everyone's busy. The phone's ringing, but they're probably on, they don't have enough people, so everyone's scrambling. That phone is ringing, even if you're asking for like, hey, what's the time? What time you guys close? Even like, are you guys open? And like the phone just rings and rings and rings. So yeah, I do believe 50% of calls are going unanswered. I do believe that.
I do too. I guess I'm just because a lot of this isn't just that either. Like it's saying that you can come. I mean, like I'm going back to the Uber Eats one. I'm flipping between articles here because there's so many on them, but I'm having trouble. In each article, there's like maybe a little tidbit of what it might do. But on the Uber Eats side, they're saying that it can, like, this is from TechCrunch, that it can take into account your budget, your food preferences, how to help you place an order in the app. Are we that stupid? Can you not open the app and just go, I want some food and I'm going to order it?
So what they're doing remember with the Instacart, there was like, okay, we're going to put chat GPT in there. So if someone is, I don't know, on a keto diet or some kind of special diet, you type it in, they'll suggest things and you'll order. So I'm assuming they're just going to put that in there for people who are looking to do that. I think most probably have no interest, and they know what they want to eat, and it's usually not that good for them. So I could see it helpful, but they think that they just can continue, or people can, I guess they can get more orders in, because if people are calling the restaurants and not getting through, that is supposed to help facilitate that process. But it's okay. It's no game changer in my opinion.
I think it'd be better money spent if they learn how to create support via AI. That's what we need.
Yeah, it is talking about, there is a level of that too, but one of the references is talking about Instacart. It's saying that Instacart launched 2 months ago, launched an AI search tool, which was done through Chat GPT, called Ask Instacart. And again, being very familiar with Instacart, but also and I see Ryan in here too. Ryan is from Austin, and he is one of the few people that I know that does crush it on Instacart. He makes very good money.
It happens.
He always seems to be around when I talk about Instacart, so I won't Instacart bash. I'm just going to say it just doesn't work for me in my market. But with dumpling and things like that, why can't you just, like, if you're taking the time to go through and select your groceries, shouldn't it just have a default suggestion for when something isn't there if you don't have one yourself? Like if I want Vlasic pickles, okay, but they don't have Vlasic and I put in a backup, that's great. But if I don't, shouldn't there just be a backup? And then an option of I do want backups or I don't?
It should be. That makes sense. And I think the AI stuff works better for grocery, because say, for instance, you want to make something, you don't have all the recipes. You don't even know the recipe. By saying, hey, I want to make a casserole or whatever, they'll have the recipe. They'll throw out the recipe and then the products that you need. That makes sense. I think for the food delivery, again, I don't know. Like I agree with DJ about, let's get the support strengthened for the things that go wrong and the things that we need fixed. But I think for grocery delivery, it kind of makes sense. Like if you may not know how to cook something, it helps you out with that.
Yeah. I guess we're all going to see here very soon. And Ryan, I'm glad you're here, because I saw that. Hey, what's up, Cray Cray? Thank you for that super chat. I did see that. I did see, we know Instacart's going to IPO here, like right now. Basically, they've already filed. They're going to IPO on the NASDAQ.
Are we going to bet what's the price going to be? You got any idea?
Well, we know that it went okay. So in 21 months, they went from a $39 billion valuation to under 10, and we know that they're between 5 and 8.
Yeah.
On the NASDAQ, between 5 and 8, it might be kind of realistic. And yeah, see, Ryan's saying it here too. So they're going to be see, this is what Uber and Lyft did too. They gave people bonuses when they went public. So if they do the thing where they say, "Hey, do you want the cash bonus or do you want the stock? Take the cash." And I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just giving you personal advice.
That sounds like fine.
I'm just saying that's. I mean, when Uber and Lyft went public, I had those options and I took the cash on both.
Then like put in an index fund. Okay, no. If it was me, I would take it and invest it somewhere else.
I wouldn't, because if you don't, you can also get tied up with like a hold on that stock, so you have to hold it for a certain amount of time.
Right.
You know, you can't just get it traded out that minute when it
dumps.
goes live. And but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think this AI thing is getting pretty crazy. And when I see this now, I'm like going, I thought this was more for what DJ said. I thought this was more to help customers, not to help, not to help the people to go like, I don't want to open the app and them to be determining my level of where I'm at financially. And, this is what you'll be selecting from tonight. I don't want to see that thrown at me. Maybe I'm looking to go out of my range tonight. Maybe I'm looking to have a nicer dinner. I don't want them starting to get to know me too well. I hear you. I guess that's the way I think of it. And then over in Miami now, and this one, DJ and Britt, I want you guys to tell me what you think about this, because there is an ordinance going into place. Or is it actually a law now? It's going to be a law. That is, people are complaining about it's gonna break privacy laws. But what it is it allows, and I want you guys to maybe tell me why you think this would be so important. I have some reasons, but you guys do more DoorDash than I do. You're gonna the restaurant and the customers are gonna have to have each other's information from the get-go. Upon the order hitting the restaurant, they're gonna have the address and information of the client. It's not just gonna be a DoorDasher's coming to get it. Who cares? They're gonna know where it's going. And the privacy thing comes in because it's saying that now they can add you to all these calling lists and this, that, and the other. And it's becoming a big thing. And to me, initially, I was like, well, what's wrong with this? This is a part of transparency. This is what we need. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Why would they, is this a big deal? Is it a big deal that and maybe why would it be important for the restaurant to know? Because I believe more transparency, the better everything will operate. But why would it be important for the customer and the restaurant to know? Do you think that's them saying like, well, you might have to contact the customer?
Well, I mean, if they're out of something and they need to replace it, they can just call them instead of waiting until we get there and saying, well, you need to call the customer, because then it takes more time. So they could just call them themselves.
Do you think most restaurants will be into that?
Probably not, but I mean, it needs to be what they do. Like, it needs to be their job.
I know.
If they could figure out a way to make everything as efficient as possible, so we're not wasting the customer's time, you're not wasting the driver's time, you're not wasting the obviously the restaurant's time. You can figure out a way, but everyone has to step it up a little bit. But a lot of small businesses, those restaurants, they're hanging on by a thread, right? They don't have time to say what they don't have, and they should, but they're busting their butt. They're trying to get the orders out, and certain things eventually, there's no longer there, and they're not updating the system fast enough. I mean, some restaurants can't even update their hours. I tried to go out last night. We were going to go to this restaurant. The restaurant's closed for several days. But the problem is when you go on Yelp or you go on Google, whatever, it's open. It's like, it would be nice for someone to say, hey, this place is going to be closed for a few days. Like stuff that I'm sure they're not thinking about it, but it's important, right? I don't know. But I think everyone should do a little bit more of putting that information in, making an easier process for everybody.
So why is it happening in Miami? What is it that they see the benefit for the merge, for the bridge?
Well, so it's basically here's the title of the article is Miami-Dade sets table for food delivery app regulations amid privacy concerns. So it's also getting into some other things that are coming down the road, which again we'll be talking about next Thursday on here, with that whole roundup, not on the roundtable that night, but that in the Thursday afternoon, we're going to be doing that. And there's a lot of DeSantis is putting in a lot of stuff into this too, and it starts to go a little deeper too into transparency. And I feel like it's a stepping stone maybe to enough is enough with it. It doesn't straight up say it, but I'm starting to wonder, are some of these places like Miami or whatever getting so sick of having 10,000 DoorDashers working when 500 are needed and just running around unassigning, never knowing if there's a responsibility level of any kind? Who's going to pick this up? Is somebody going to pick this up? Are we throwing this in the trash? And even if you have a deal worked out where most of it's paid for by DoorDash, even if it goes in the trash and doesn't get picked, I don't know. Like, I've run a restaurant and a bar. I would hate to deal with these companies. I would hate it.
Yeah.
Or you may have to, right? I mean, I think a lot of them believe they need these companies to thrive or even to survive. Like, if you had a restaurant, would you? I know you wouldn't use them at all, but there's some people out there that, like, it helped a few years ago. A lot of my customers order. I'm sure they're seeing the same orders every day. So I don't know. I mean, I do agree with you saying, like, it'd be nice to have as much transparency as possible for everyone involved, but also everyone needs to step up a little bit in terms of how to make this work. But I'd be interested, like, if it was ever a time when you knew how many DoorDashers were in your area, like as a driver, like you look at your phone and like, wow, there's like a lot over here. Maybe I shouldn't go over there, but they'll never do that because that's just too much, I guess, right? I mean, DoorDash would never allow that, but it'd be nice to know, like, all 500 drivers are over here. Maybe I'll go to a different location. Save myself.
Well, something that's nice about Denver is they have these multi kitchens where you have 5, 6, 7 different restaurants sitting in one warehouse off in some commercial zone, not even in the main vein of the city.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with the restaurant.
Yeah. Though you're talking about like the ghost kitchens.
So Chili's has a ghost kitchen.
Right. And it's like Denny's has a ghost kitchen, and
PF Chang's has a, what I call it's different.
I mean,
it's
guess
in a multi-kitchen.
I guess they are like ghost kitchens, but they're like 6 or 7 different ones in one warehouse.
Right.
And you don't have to deal with the restaurant. So
yeah,
you don't have to deal with anybody. You just go in, you scan your phone, and it tells you which locker it's in, and the locker opens.
Oh, like the Amazon at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the future of a lot of this stuff, where I know like Walmart is getting their robotics together where they can just be picking up products and putting it in one place where you don't have to pick the products anymore. It seems like that's where it's going, right, Steve? Where you may just show up and they're going to have that food ready and you have no idea. You have not seen a human. You've not seen a person handing you the bag anymore, right? It's going to be very interesting, I guess, to say the least.
I mean, part of the, if you remember a couple of weeks back, we were talking about Uber Eats picking off some of these ghost kitchens, though, like and some of that does need to happen. Like, what is it? Chuck E. Cheese has they run like this bogus pizza name, and yet they're the worst pizza in the world,
right?
But they run it under does anybody know the name?
No.
It starts with a P or something, and anyway, when you see those orders, you're going to be picking up from Chuck E. Cheese. It's Chuck E. Cheese pizza. It's not anything different. And the same thing happens at Denny's. Like the Denny's right by me even has like 3 kitchens that go out of there. Like one's for a grilled cheese company, but it's still the same grilled cheese that is made at Denny's. Well, what if somebody's like, I really want a grilled cheese, but I just don't want a Denny's one. Here, I'll get this.
Yeah,
you're getting a Denny's grilled cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of, I thought that was a very cool move of Uber. I would like to oh, thank you, Dad Dash. Appreciate that. There you go.
I
See,
think the
that's a
best
very
one.
fancy way of saying Chuck E. Cheese.
I think the best one that I've actually seen was Italian food coming out of Chili's.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess this is all my point. Like, if it's, to me, in the pandemic, when Travis Kalanick left Uber pre-pandemic, he went over to Europe and started ghost kitchens before the pandemic even hit. And then they kind of blew up. And I thought they were going to do a lot more than they did. I was under the impression ghost kitchens were going to be, like you were saying, like more commercial space areas that were broken to like 2 or 3 separate kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
And then expedited the food out properly, but all had their own kitchens. I didn't know it was just going to be like, hey, let's have 4 restaurants in this kitchen. I mean, to me, that's not really a fair assessment for the consumer, because I don't know, it's too much trickery. I'd be pissed if I ordered Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
So what's your take on the customer restaurant relationship with that data that's being collected between, primarily for the restaurant in Miami?
I think it's a good thing, because like Britt said, I think that, I'm kind of on that page that, like, look, I mean, what if it's Friday night and you're just, I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in kitchens, I've worked in bars, and you're just banging it out, and it's slammed, and you're out of a few things, and all these DoorDash tickets start coming in for one of your most popular items, but you're already out of it. You don't have a delivery coming until Monday. Damn well, as the restaurant, you're not going to get through to DoorDash. You're not going to get them to contact the customer and get it sorted out. It's just somehow going to be a jumbled mess, and people aren't going to get what they want. They're not going to be happy, and they're just going to be accepting of that. And I think with the fact that, look, we all spend a lot of money just to go out to dinner. If to have it brought to you is another adding cost, you should get what you want. This shouldn't be like, hey man, a bag of food's coming, just deal. That should not be how this works. And I don't know, maybe it will allow the restaurants to contact the customer. I don't know how it will speed up an order or help the process of a DoorDasher coming in and them going, oh, that's going to be like 30 minutes, and them unassigning it. Because I don't think that's a good way of doing things either. I believe that if you get there and it's not ready and it's working on some kind of time, that you should get paid a good amount of money per minute that you're waiting for that order, to make you sit there. And even if you're not doing hourly, I'm just saying, like, you should be paid to be sitting there so that you don't unassign. That's my take. I think if you get to a restaurant and you've done it all in time, you're not showing up too early, or you're there on time and it's not ready, I think you should be paid 50, 75 cents a minute by these companies. They're all losing money just trying to get to be the biggest. So why not just lose a little more? And
part of the problem is sometimes you don't know when to wait, because you get a number like 8+, and it can go up 50 cents. It can go up $20. And so a lot of it is, as I don't even, you don't know if it's worth waiting or not. You're taking a chance. So a lot of people just don't feel like taking that chance.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll always go back to transparency. It's what I've done since the beginning. If they've just showed everything up front, no problem, because then people would only take the orders they want. And those that say, well, but only people would only take the best orders, that's not true. We all know this. There are people that will take anything. It will all get delivered
eventually.
I even have a theory that if you are completely transparent, it'll get delivered much quicker.
Yeah.
Because I do believe on assigns. I think all those things really hurt. I see Cray talking about, I hate Popeyes. We know people hate Wendy's. I mean, there's certain restaurants that you just want gone. Like, you don't even want to deal with them.
Well, that being all over the country, there are certain restaurants that we've blacklisted all over. And Popeyes is one of them.
Yeah.
They're the same
Like no matter where you go.
everywhere.
No matter where you go.
I've tried them multiple cities, and it's the same everywhere.
Surprisingly enough, it's a chicken chain, and 9 times out of 10, they're out of chicken.
Where is Popeyes originated from? Louisiana, right?
Louisiana.
Is it good there? Like, are they fast and efficient? I was, at the source. Have you guys ever been there? No.
You mean like is there a first shot that's like legit?
Popeyes, and I'm not trying to categorize this, but Popeyes is going to be loaded out with some bulletproof glass, and you're taking a risk just showing up and getting some chicken.
In Louisiana, it's
right, Craig?
You have to be special to dash there.
So how many cities have you guys been to where you haven't even tried Popeyes in that city because you hate it so much?
A lot.
Yeah.
So you went to enough cities where you're like, this sucks everywhere, that now in Denver, have you even done one Popeyes?
No, and I've only gotten a few, like 2 since I've been here. I don't get many, but I know.
Yeah, but we stay down in Cherry Creek,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's still a few there's one near me. There's a few around this town.
Yeah, but no, I haven't accepted any of them. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've got some episodes going back that get into some nastiness about Popeyes to begin with.
Well, see, what happens is you get out there, and it really kind of just jacks with your numbers because you can't complete the order, and it just doesn't help anybody because it goes against you, period.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So to control your numbers, you just don't go to Popeyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
mean,
here's
any
soda.
Bud Soda has,
positive.
Of course, he's got a different take on it.
Of course, Bud Soda has a Popeyes is good.
My Popeyes are good, and what it's a weight. What is that? Though.
So
give me an honest answer. I just come back after a shop and deliver other orders and continue stack.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, Bud Soda is the stack god, so he knows how to handle it.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm still saying, like, Bud Soda, is Popeyes good, or is Popeyes just while you're stacking other things, you can go make money when it is ready? Because I don't know. I really that is across the board one. Wendy's usually is too, but that's across the board one. Most people hate
McDonald's. I hate McDonald's. I have really bad experiences, right? But like Kim, she says, I love
Kim will do McDonald's all day
because she has a great restaurant. Probably is because franchises. Some franchises are run better than others. So McDonald's, I've heard some 50-50, not 50-50. Most people hate it. Some people like it. Popeyes, I've heard everyone said it except Bud Soda that they enjoyed it. Wendy's, another close one. Super slow. It's not worth going. White Castle, I know you guys are around there. I like Taco Bell, but that's times of you kind of you're waiting for a while too. So
yeah, it's I don't know. I wouldn't go to my son was telling me he's never been to a KFC, and he's like I'd go to Popeyes over KFC in a minute. I'm like, you've never been to a KFC? And he said, he goes, but Popeyes isn't bad. I'm like, Popeyes sucks, bro. Like, why are you eating there? I mean, the food's horrible. I've showed him the Roach videos. I mean, come on, man. I mean, what else do you got to see? Like, I mean, and that Roach video, by the way, like, if you guys
was in
remember,
Detroit, bro, right?
Yeah, but twice in Detroit, 1 year apart from each other, and they were both at the same damn location. How's that location even still there, guys? I mean, and that's just gross. The Instacart or the DoorDasher, I don't even remember that story exact, but the DoorDasher was like, took the food to the person, but then told them don't eat it because they saw the roaches crawling out of the bag, but they didn't want to unassign it or get blasted. So they actually took it, gave it to the person and said, I wouldn't eat this. There's cockroaches all over it, and showed them video they had shot in the restaurant.
It's just like a
I was
comedy.
like, what the hell, dude? What kind of business is this that you can't even call the company and say there's cockroaches here? I'm not going to deliver this food and I don't want to be penalized for it.
Right.
Crazy.
I mean, you should not be. I mean, that's putting somebody else's health and safety in your hands. And we damn well know a lot of people wouldn't even care. They'd just deliver it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, to the good delivery people out there, thank you. Appreciate that, because we know a lot of people would just not. And again, it's under that fear of threat. Like, I'll get in trouble. I'll get an unassigned. I could get deactivated. You know, like you could get deactivated for calling whistleblowing on a Popeyes that has cockroaches. That's so ridiculous to me. You know, I mean, you're looking out for the well-being of people. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And then we have the daily the weekly daily dot story. The DoorDasher that took the tipless, and you guys, this bothered me a lot. This guy takes this tipless Little Caesars order, and the order, he goes on this rant for like 3 minutes on TikTok. Again, anything on the daily dot, it came from TikTok almost always. But so the handle on TikTok is Austin Side Hustle, and he took all these pizzas. The order was over $250, and he said there's no way there's not going to be a tip. Well, there was no tip put in there. There was no tip handed to him. The person said that they needed him to call and to hand them the pizzas. He called and the number wasn't right. You know, sometimes we got to question these stories, but you know, in some of these, I happen to just believe the majority of them, because what I used to think was outrageous really is pretty much just a daily occurrence these days.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, he gets nothing, and then he's all pissed, and I guess it goes to all the, you know, like you see Pedro in the chat, it goes to the no tip, no trip. I mean, don't take it, dude. Don't take it.
It's a Little Caesars. Yeah, right. It's Little Caesars. It's not another restaurant like a higher. Assuming that they're trying to be cheap. That's why they buy it. I mean, who eats Little Caesars pizza? You buy for little kids because they don't know any better.
People are eating Chuck E. Cheese and don't even know it because it's called Pasquale's.
I'd rather have Chuck E. Cheese pizza than Little Caesars pizza. So if we have like ranking system, I'll give me the Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I'll eat that. I'll have that before Little Caesars.
There's a person here in the chat, Charlie, who has a request for Britt. Britt, talk about the one order you had at the apartment where the number and apartment number were both wrong. But sure. That ring a bell with you?
So many orders if I don't remember, right?
I mean, this person remembers. I don't know. I figure if he's saying it to you, Britt, you might know, but
I don't know, because there's been so many that the apartment number and then I honestly don't remember which one she's talking about, but if the apartment and the phone number is wrong, I just put on that 5-minute timer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's my thing. Like, if it, like, okay, what do you guys think in that scenario? If the person says, I mean, as good business, not what would DoorDash want you to do, but just good business, what would you do? You're given $250 in pizzas. The order says you have to hand it to the person. You're ringing their doorbell. You're knocking on the door. The guy's done all this. There's no tip on it. As good business, would you take this order back? Again, if there were no penalties, whatever, it was just you're conscious. Would you take this order back to the restaurant or have it canceled or whatever? Or would you just leave it there? Because I guess I'm asking because my question becomes, maybe the address was put in wrong. Maybe the phone number hasn't been updated. Maybe this, and I don't know. But to me, if it says hand it to me and they're that specific and they ordered that much, the guy ended up just leaving it there. No trouble was caused by that. I'm just asking this question because I'm curious. I don't wouldn't.
I don't
feel
like
comfortable
doing
just
that.
leaving
I don't. I know some people, many people who do that. I don't feel comfortable. If it said handed to me, then I'm not going to leave it at the door, because then that's where I'm liable to. Well, I didn't follow the directions, so it would be. I probably would have took it back. I definitely wouldn't want it. So it going somewhere. I wouldn't. But it sounds like it was some kind of, not saying a trick or something, but it seems a little weird and shady though. To order that much food, no one's responding to you. It seems a little weird.
Yeah. What would you guys do?
Well, one time we had an order. It took us to a Home Depot at 11 o'clock at night, and it wasn't for the overnight crew. And once we called them, we,
They actually canceled the order, and then the customer called us, and we took the order to them anyway.
it was 4 or 5 miles further from the Home Depot. I mean, as far as the right thing to do, I was a customer. I wanted food, and somebody brought me food.
I really think it depends on the situation, because I've had it to where, like, it's an apartment complex, and you get to the little thing, the little call box, and I call on the call box and no one answers. I call them and no one answers. In that situation, I'm probably going to leave it somewhere outside the apartment complex and take a picture of it, because when they finally look at their phone, they can come down and get their food.
Yeah.
But
what about gate scenario? To get into an apartment complex, when
like
you have somebody a non-responsive.
Well, most of the time you can find somebody going in the gate and sneaking behind them. Yeah. But if it was a whole lot of food, like if I had $200 and something worth of food, I think that's different. I either would take it back, or I would at least call support and see what they wanted to do. But
so I know you guys travel around a lot. For those of you that don't know, if you are just joining us, DJ and Britt do the on the road thing. They kind of get to travel the country and work in different markets. We always talk about market to market, so I cannot pass up the opportunity while we have you here to have you tell us, like, obviously gas prices change. If you go to California, to here, to the East Coast, all that kind of stuff. Cost of living isn't in your factor other than like food and stuff, though. What markets are raging, or at least really good, and which ones have been real bombs in your opinion?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we tend to come back to Denver because Denver is been one of the best for us.
Yeah, Denver's a good gig market.
Yeah.
We like Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix was good.
We like St. Louis.
Savannah, Georgia was really good. It was really good, especially with Instacart, because they have a whole lot of Airbnbs there, and Instacart was crazy down there. So yep. Savannah was good.
You're not going to offend anybody, but I just need to know a bad one or two.
San Diego, yeah. San Diego, California was awful.
Across the board on the apps?
Oh yeah.
It was trash. It was very bad. We didn't even stay as long as we wanted to because we couldn't make enough money to survive.
Wow. And now I don't think all of California is that way.
No, that's the only place that we have been in California so far. What was another one?
Mobile, Alabama ain't real good.
Atlanta, Georgia. I wouldn't suggest Atlanta, Georgia.
Really?
No.
I wouldn't.
Major market.
I wouldn't suggest New Orleans.
No, and not because of the money. I'm not real sure how the money was there. We got into some neighborhoods, and I didn't feel real comfortable dashing there. So
yeah.
I always wondered about New Orleans volume too, because people in New Orleans, even during the pandemic, I know people down there, they like to go out. They don't like to get their food brought in, especially from the restaurants they like. There's part of it is going to these restaurants.
Yeah.
So I know
So the bars or restaurants are probably doing well, but not necessarily for delivery.
Yeah. You know, so I don't know. I heard you say Mobile too. I mean, like I've been to Mobile to do laser shows, and I gotta tell you guys, like that city scares me. I've being from Michigan and having family all over Detroit and stuff. I'm used to a Gotham type town at night, and yes, they're reviving Detroit, but down there's something weird that happens. It looks apocalyptic when you walk outside in downtown. There's like nobody there. There's like no people in Mobile. Wherever they are, they're outside of the city. Because when you're down, even on a weekday, there's like nobody works down. I mean, there's just no people. It's very strange. You see all these high rises, you see all these buildings, but there's nobody there. And I'm not talking about pandemic. This is way before the pandemic. But yeah, I never got a vibe for Mobile. I always thought this is a very weird place.
So as
No
far
offense
as
to Mobile people,
as far as Atlanta, we were there about a week and a half, and we didn't say anything to each other because we kept trying to find that pocket, that honey spot, you know?
Because there was a lot of zones, so we're like, well, maybe we're in the wrong zone. Maybe it's this one.
We worked the whole market, up and down and left and right, and it was no good. And finally, one day I said, I think we need to go. And we were chasing Top Dasher for the moment. So one of the things that we have to do is chase Top Dasher, because we have to have the option to dash now anywhere we go.
Yeah, because if you're going from here to here and you want to stop in these 3 towns along the way, you have to be able to know you can dash in those towns, because you'll show up and then you can't.
So we left Atlanta and we went to Macon, Georgia.
Which, if you don't know Macon, Georgia, it is this little bitty town that looks like half of it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
It's this little bitty town that you wouldn't think that you would get anything. And we ended up making like $160. And it would, like, I was shocked.
We made more there than we did Atlanta.
You get surprised out there. You show up to places and it doesn't look like you can't judge it because you may.
But Macon gave us Top Dasher that month.
Yeah, because it was all really close orders. But yeah, so it's definitely a journey. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, so I see that gig-wise, Tim. So Tim, if you didn't hear, I know that I caught Instacart, but what other apps are you guys working?
We do Doordash, Uber Eats, and Instacart. And I actually just did our second delivered today. We just signed up for that like this last week, trying it out in Denver.
Yeah, because it's new here in Denver. Right?
Yeah, so I thought we signed up for that, and we did our second one today. So
nice. Like and delivered. Did they both go well?
They both went well.
Yeah. So I see Cody, I kind of like rephrased my question of what are your 3 favorite markets? I guess, what are you two? Can I rephrase that? Well, then we'll just put that one to rest. What are your 2 favorite markets? What's your 1 worst?
Denver and Phoenix would be our favorite.
Wow. Okay.
And our worst favorite? I mean, would it be? Or would it be New Orleans?
Yeah, I would never do New Orleans again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Noah Grind. If he's still in here.
Well, I mean, he's saying the same thing. I see a comment here. He says New Orleans can be really good. That's for sure. Potholes are the deterrent. If you caught in the beginning, that's what they were saying about Denver too.
Well, because we like St. Louis too, but the roads are really, really rough there. So that's the only negative about St. Louis.
So when we were in St. Louis and it was snowing and the newscast was on and they were talking about how come the city has all these potholes, and they were given reasons behind it, that it snows.
They said it's because of the snow.
and the plows come out and scrape the snow and jack up the roads. So that's been kind of a little funny for us. Every time we see a pothole anywhere in the country, it must snow here a lot.
Yeah.
Down in Fort Lauderdale, it snows a lot.
Right.
Yeah. I see that Dashing Across America said he caught a banger, a $44 banger in Dublin. I don't even know where, and I know
Dublin, Georgia. Yeah, that's by Savannah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we found Savannah by accident, and we stayed there 6 weeks. We just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been through Savannah. You know, again, when I say these cities, I'd go there for production reasons, but you guys are going there that's what I find so interesting, because like I have a friend up in Idaho who was doing this during the pandemic. He had an RV, he put his Prius in tow, and he kind of went state to state. And it was during a time during the pandemic when you were getting the bonuses for onboarding people. So he would go to places where he knew a person or two who was struggling during the pandemic. He would get those people recruited almost, and he'd walk them through getting the numbers to get his bonus. And then he'd try and get a couple of their friends, get them all on the bonus, get his bonus, and then he'd bounce out and go to the next town.
Great idea.
Yeah, I mean, during the pandemic, that was bank, because nobody was really willing to do that. Nobody really wanted to be traveling too much because we were all, but he was like, screw this. And he just kind of went out on the road and signed everybody up.
Yeah.
It did great.
Well, we're going to, as soon as the weather cools off a little bit more here, it's going to cool off everywhere else, but we're looking to go to Vegas and then out to Anaheim. We want to go to Lake Tahoe and then go up and see the sequoias.
Nice.
And just, we're just doing everything that we can do as long as we can do it.
Yeah.
Try to make these memories. We're going to start posting. So we have a channel, but we haven't really built anything for the public. We've done more so for ourselves to come back and reflect on. With the things that have gone on last couple of weeks, I think that it's really important for someone like ourselves to bring back the basics and the nuts and bolts as to why anybody would even come onto any of these gig apps and try to rekindle the flame for them to make a difference in their own lives.
Because
forget all this nasty. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
But there's enough of it.
Yeah.
It needs to stop.
Yeah, it does. Tom Kelly. You're late.
Actually, I thought I was going to be a few minutes early, and then had a little trouble logging in. And then I realized, oh crap, wrong time. I tell you, I thought it was going to be 9 o'clock.
You guys, I mean, we're wrapping it up here, but Tom and I will be talking, and after podcast movement that I did last week, we're gonna be doing something. So I was kind of hoping to have him in this conversation tonight too, but at least I needed to bring him on because Tom, you and I haven't talked in a minute. I know you've been spending time with your wife. You've had some you had some ups and downs with health and some other stuff, but I know that you're moving forward. I know a lot of people here, Tom, there are a lot of people who are bumming about Friday being gone. Driver Nation is a missed show, I gotta tell you. And Britt and DJ, if you don't know, Tom Kelly and me and and then assorted other people, Gary there at the end did a show called Driver Nation every Friday. He had a radio station down in Houston, and we're looking to do some other projects, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So he's here now to say bye, I guess.
It was good to see you, Tom.
So now it's all about Tango 3 Media, trekkerspodcast.com, all that kind of good stuff. And it's been an amazing journey. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm going to have to do something with Tom because I was really hoping he'd be on here tonight. But obviously.
I saw 9 o'clock, and it just registered for me. It was 9 o'clock Central and not 9 o'clock Eastern. So,
hi, Tom.
Hi.
doing nice to y'all.
So these, Tom, to this side of me is DJ and Britt, and they dash around the country, and right now they happen to be in Denver.
Okay, cool.
So they live out of their vehicle. They dash out of wherever they are, and right now they're in Denver. They're here for another couple of weeks, and yep. See, Tom, great to hear your voice again. Hey, Tom, long time no see. Tom, I always looked forward to the Friday show. Everybody misses Tom.
Well, good. Well, we'll get something going again. We'll get something going again soon.
Yeah. So you guys, I don't know if we, Tom, what you real quickly want to talk about anything you're doing here since you just did jump on real quick? You want to talk about Tango 3 Media?
Yeah, if you go look at Tango 3 Media or Truckers now, take a guess what we do at truckerspodcast.com.
Talk about trucking.
Oh my God, you're amazing! You're amazing. It turns out I bought that name years ago, and when we decided we weren't going to do live radio anymore, we still had hundreds and hundreds of hours of programming. It's like, well, we can kind of repurpose this whole thing, and it's been huge. And then on top of that, we've been doing stuff with. We're tied in with a PR guy out of Austin who's tied in with a bunch of singers throughout Texas and entertainers, and so we're working with them on their social media stuff, and also with some trucking companies. And then finally, as you know, in this industry, trucking and transportation industry, stuff happens, right? Derailments, crashes, collapsed bridges, all that kind of stuff. And we often see in this industry where people don't respond properly when a crisis happens. And so we've got a company now that works with companies ahead of time to say, when inevitably stuff happens, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to be ready? And it's funny, Steve, we've done more sales in the last 2 weeks than we did in the last 3 years.
Wow.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, man, sometimes you and I are gonna have a conversation, because after podcast movement, some things changed on the podcast front for me too, and that's after years. I mean, sometimes you just got to go through it, and but at least nobody can bash the Driver Nation show, because no matter what, Tom and I were always there. And it's not like other people bailed, but people came and went, but Tom and I were always there. We pulled off a lot of episodes.
We did. Yeah.
We did that for a long time.
Yeah, it was good.
So
we'll be back. We'll be back with more here shortly. We will. Yeah,
for sure. I can see that we're losing our light with DJ and Britt, and we're running up on the hour 15. So actually, since we have Tom here, Tom, can you give us some awesome sign out with your radio voice?
Gosh, sure.
Maybe you could do a Driver Nation style. You can do it however you want.
Yeah, we just yeah, we could do something like that. Hold on, let's do it this way.
And I want to thank everybody for coming. Obviously, a little disheveled of a roundtable, but I think that it was fun. It was really fun having DJ and Britt. I'm glad Tom joined, at least, because now he's shown his face. Now he can come back, and we can make the comeback and do something. So,
all righty, we'll be back again real soon, right here on RiDESHARE Rodeo.